Welcome back, humans, to another episode of Meant to Vent News. My name is Jaime, and once again, I got some juicy stories. I did these before. I did The World is a Stage, Acts 1 and 2, and today I'm going to bring you all The World is a Stage, Act 3. That's right. There are so many more juicy stories that to uncover, and I brought a few with me to show you more of this. Look this way while this is happening. Don't watch me. Watch the other guys making all the noise. Those kind of things like that. So everything we seem to see out here has now been exposed. Some of these things are coming out as lies and a bunch of BS from the mouths of our politicians, from the mouths of our politicians and the mouths of our media. There's been a lot of things covering up, like through the media, for one, is one of the main first stops we'll take during this, this world stage. During this Act 3 of the world, we're going to start with the media. So, the media always is involved with all the cover-ups. I mean, look what happened when the assassination of our president happened. The assassination attempt, when they attempted to assassinate our president. They seemed to make this guy disappear really quick. Nobody's even talking about the guy anymore. And there was some guy who blew himself up in front of a building with a Tesla car. He must have forgot the car was like fireproof, so he trapped himself in there. But they allegedly said the guy had a bullet wound to his head or something weird, and no weapon in the car. I don't know. There was a lot of weird stories, but these people just got erased really fast. And it's the same thing with Charlie Kirk's assassination. The man was assassinated live. People got to see this thing, and I think they wanted people to see it for a reason. And they covered it up really fast. There's so many different angles, so many unanswered questions. Thankful for a lot of people out there finding research or trying to give their own angles, at least trying to give their own angles. Some of them might be a little extreme and outrageous, and kind of like starting a little, controversy sometimes because some people may be reaching. But it's not only that. It's because we're not getting answers from our own law enforcement or government. So people are going out there taking it into their own hands and trying to find answers, which is amazing. And I'm really glad that they're trying to do these things. But the media is doing all they can to just cover things up. Like, look what's going on with, speaking of Charlie Kirk, he was under pressure because he was trying to, didn't agree what was happening with Israel things and other situations like that. And the media wants to cover up what's happening over there. The media is blacked out in other countries because they don't want you to see how maybe good or bad or things could be happening over there. It's a lot of weird things happening. They program you. Every single media, when there's a big story or a large event, has a superscript. They all see the same. They seem to say the same terms all the time. When there's a big tragic event, they all seem to have some cool phrase to say. And that phrase is just like in everybody's head. And then all the people in conversations around your towns and at workplaces and whatnot all use this term because it's like programmed into you. They use it for programming. And our world leaders as well. Like I said, these guys come out with all kinds of lies when they're all built around corruption. Look at Gavin Newsom. Like, this guy's taking all kinds of this funding and people don't know what's going on. And California is all this, and a lot of crazy things happen in California. Or is it all far-fetched? It's the media making it seem like California has a lot of crazy things happening and maybe he's a target because they want this guy out of the way. Could it be those kind of things? Like, is he a threat to our president? And they're making all this dirt, making him seem like a super bad guy. And or maybe what's happening in California is legit and he's responsible. Then maybe he should get in trouble for some of these things. These are there's a lot. I'm from Michigan, so I don't really know what's happening. All I get is what the media does. And a lot of times the media's lies. I'm thankful for people that come from those states and cities that come out there and give us some of the insight, because it seems like more of a sincere story coming from them when you hear it from somebody from the town, other than the politicians who are, built and programmed and trained to, lie to the public, so they can push narratives and, make a bunch of money on our behalfs. So, yeah, then they got the mayor of Chicago right now. This guy's allowing all this crime to happen to prove something. I have no idea what. Even the citizens themselves are asking for some help out there. And it looks really wild out there. You see people trying to fix things because crime's out of control. To me, I think they're setting everybody up for martial law. I think they want everybody to keep acting crazy so they can keep military forces in here. Turn this into like some Hunger Games scenario where it's all like the Hunger Games. You can't talk up against the government and like all this crazy shit. Or you can be like publicly scrutinized or publicly, busted in front of everybody. Like just like made an example of in front of your towns, like third world countries and stuff. Like, just keep acting up. I mean, I think it's going to be really easy for them to do it. Imagine if there was a time where everybody like stayed home and they didn't start nothing. What would they do? They already have paid crisis actors. People are talking about some of these people that are right now in these protests, these Antifa people, and they're traveling from state to state and getting recognized in other news channels. It's like the same people, same people carrying the same sign. You think they would like try to change an outfit, but I guess not. I mean, they're being seen in multiple states. It's like a world tour of terrorism or world tour of protests. I mean, I didn't want to mislabel it. I apologize, but it's like a tour of protests. They got buses and everything. Like, who's funding all this? This is wild. They got a big payroll or something to be able to afford to not work and just go and protest full time. Like, is protesting a full-time job? I need to know this in the comments. Like, do people get paid to protest? Like, for real? Like they say there's paid crisis actors and things like that. Is this one of these situations here to make all this chaos? And then all the corruption I've been covering in my own state of Michigan. Like, and now they gave our governor more money. They just gave her like $81 billion more, and she tried to start a new office already. She tried to start a new company, a new place to put all that money real quick so she could start siphoning it away. Like, she had all this money coming in, and they talked about record numbers of revenue for tax revenue from the marijuana industry alone. Just the marijuana industry alone in our state was bringing in all this money. But then now they just raised the taxes on it even more because they say they need it for the roads. But all this record number of money that was coming in is now gone. Where did it go? Then they said there was $5 billion with a B missing from 4,000 created fake jobs. Like, nobody was working these jobs, but they had all this money. And that was supposedly taxpayers' money. Where is that money at? There's all kinds of crazy corruption going on, like right here, everywhere. And then people are saying the media is downplaying the thing over here in Dearborn with what's going on out here. Like, people are trying to say it's like a Muslims takeover or something like that. I'm sorry, like, if America wakes up and decides that like we're not going to put up with this stuff anymore, we are lawfully able to protect and take back our country. It's written in laws. If the law enforcement, I don't know a word verbatim, but there's something in there like if the law enforcement can't protect the land, the American citizens can. So I mean, if there's ever a time, which I hope there isn't, people would probably shut shit off. But okay, that's enough. You made us get off the couch. Something like that. But that's what's happening when it comes to our world leaders and all this media. That's all they do. I feel like right now they want all this violence. They want all this chaos. I feel like they're trying to plan something really big. And there's also an alleged rumor that the media is not talking about what's really happening and during a lot of these arrests of these immigrants. Some of these people are on terrorist watch lists. And apparently that the media won't talk about that these people the government has been seizing like very high-tech weapons, explosives, crazy, liquids, things they won't all disclose all the way. But these things are out here you can find them on the websites and stuff like that. One of them's in like Yahoo News and stuff. Like they are finding all these things there, like lasers and like all this stuff. Like, what do they need all this stuff for if you're just, visiting America for a better life? Right? But the media ain't talking about all those things. They just want you to say that they're bad for getting these people out of here. But it's not like I think they're getting some of these bad people. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I mean, it sounds like they could be doing something good here. And geez, it's just really wild. Then you got like the technology and the science angle, like this CERN company. This CERN company's been blowing money away. I don't know who gives them all this money. And they've been blowing all this money away from all the countries. I don't know who funds it. We probably do. I don't even know. But it's in like Switzerland or something. And these guys made a giant ring in the ground. And supposedly, these guys are just shooting atoms and crashing them into each other and trying to simulate like what created the universe. So these are people that like don't believe in God and think that they can do what God did. Like, and they're sitting here blowing all this money away for all these years. What advancements has this company made? I don't know. All you heard was some lady come out and Joe Rogan and be like, yeah, we saw interdimensional beings. And she was probably paid to say that so she can get more funding to give us a bunch of bullcrap. Like, what's going on in that little metal ring for real? What are they doing? Because ain't shit happening, And then people are like, HARP is like controlling the weather. Really? Like, is it? Or is it just another thing that they just throw money at and they just created it? Like, HARP's all these big antennas and they don't work. Like, look at the windmills. Those things ain't doing shit. I'm just saying. They're already like giving up on windmills. Okay. Like those things are going to sit there but money's still going to go to the windmills and they're not even going to rebuild those because it's old shit. Because the media is just pulling this cover over everybody's eyes. I just think it's wild. because it's all a big old stage. And the same thing with scientists. There's a bunch of these big old scientists that think they're the bomb. Another bunch of scientists that don't believe in God, and they're all trying to do what God does. Like, oh, we'll just give you these shots that make you better, even though there's stuff on this earth that's supposed to make us better, right? They'd be like, this won't cure you, but it'll help you. That's about it. And then everything's all about your brain now. They just want to give you all these like mood and brain enhancements. They want to control like your brain. And so like every commercial on the TV is all these pills to control your brain. And then like half the commercials is about all the bad shit can happen, but they show this person having the best time while the bad shit is happening on the list. Like you're going to, ignore the suicidal thoughts and blah, 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 and instant death, sudden death and all this other crap. Like you'll just hate everybody, want to kill everybody. Like, and you're watching this guy play in the park with his kids, you're just forgetting about the side effects, because the world is a stage. They don't want you to see all that, but they kind of got to put it in your face at the same time. Because apparently, evil does have to ask permission before it crosses the threshold. Well, this has been another episode of Meant to Vent News. Till next time, humans. See ya!